Hi, friends. Thanks for joining us for another devotional as we prepare for Easter together. My name is John, and we're walking through this last week of Jesus' life. And I just want to start this devotional with this question. What are the ways that you might be ignoring Jesus in your life today? What are the ways that you might be ignoring Jesus in your life? For me, the first thing that sparks in my mind, I am an input guy. I don't know if you're familiar with strength finders, but input is way up there for me. I love just receiving and processing information. I love listening to books on tape. I love reading. I love listening to podcasts. I love absorbing information. But one of the things that really I give the credit to my wife in this is this call to pause and to create space to hear God in my life. How much am I doing that? How much are you doing that? How much are you stiff-arming God in your life? Today's passage, Jesus, in this middle section of this week, this final week of Jesus' life, he gives these series of parables. In this parable, it talks about the ways in which those at the time had ignored God. They'd ignored the prophets he sent them, and ultimately they not only ignored, but rejected Jesus Christ. Here's the parable. It's out of Matthew 21, verses 33 through 44. Let's read it together. Hear another parable. There was a master of a house who planted a vineyard and put a fence around it and dug a winepress in it and built a tower and leased it to tenants and went into another country. When the season for fruit drew near, he sent his servants to the tenants to get his fruit. And the tenants took his servants and beat one, killed another, and stoned another. Again, he sent other servants, more than the first, and they did the same to them. Finally, he sent his son to them, saying, "They will respect my son." But when the tenants saw the son, they said to themselves, "This is the heir. Come, let's kill him and have his inheritance." And they took him and threw him out of the vineyard and killed him. Let me just pause right there. I'm going to pick up the story, but it's interesting the way that Jesus is reading this is it's like they understand the connection between the son and the inheritance. But they think that the way to get the inheritance is by killing the son. But actually the way to the inheritance is through the son, is by becoming sons of God through the Son of God, Jesus Christ. He is our only hope in receiving the inheritance and the good things that God has for us. Let me continue on to verse 40. When therefore the owner of the vineyard comes, what will he do to these tenants? They said to them, "He will put those wretches to a miserable death and let out the vineyard to another tenant who will give him the fruits in their seasons." Jesus said to them, "Have you ever read in the scriptures, the stone that the builders rejected has become this cornerstone? This was the Lord's doing, and it is marvelous in our eyes. Therefore, I tell you, the kingdom of God will be taken away from you and given to a people producing its fruits. And the one who falls on this stone will be broken to pieces, and when it falls on anyone, it will crush him." It's a strong ending to this message, but it really speaks to the importance of responding to Jesus in our lives. Jesus is the heir of God. All that God has given us. God has given you vineyards in your life. He's given me vineyards in my life. He said, "Hey, I want you to steward those. I want you to tend those. And by the way, I'm going to send you my word. I'm going to tell you how to respond, how to tend your fields." But you know what? I think so many of us, we just ignore. We try to create our own little systems. God, we create our deals with God. God, if I do this, then I ask you to do this for me. God, if I follow these things, I ask you to do these things. God, here's how our relationship is going to work. But that's not how it works. We don't get to set the parameters of relationship where God is the owner, God is the master, and God has called us to. And so God says, stop ignoring me. What are the ways that you're ignoring, you're pushing back God's instruction in your life? God says, this is the perfect time to do it, right? right here in the middle of preparing for Easter. Life for many of us, because of COVID-19, has slowed significantly. Now's the moment to stop, to pause, to create a moment in your life daily where you're saying, God, I want to listen from you. I want to respond to you. I want to hear from you. I want to stop creating this life that's based around my rules, even when I project those and I claim they're yours. I want to respond to your Son because the end is really, really bad if we don't do that. Jesus Christ has come. He's the cornerstone. He's the one that we're called to build our faith around. And the question is, will your life be built on him, or will Jesus Christ crush you? On the final day, when we stand in front of God, what will he say? How will we have treated his Son? Is Jesus your cornerstone? Is he my cornerstone? Or is he the one on the final day who will crush us? The weight of that responsibility will crush us, just as it did these tenants. Easter's an invitation. And Jesus, even in the final days of his life, is saying, it's not too late. And I tell you, it's not too late. It's not too late to stop trying to build your life on yourself and build your life on the cornerstone, Jesus Christ, the Son of God, and receive the inheritance of God that he has for you this day through him. So I speak to myself first. Stop, John. Stop ignoring Jesus in your life. Pause. Listen to him afresh and respond. And I say to you too, let's stop. Let's hear from Jesus and let's build our life around him. Have a great day.